Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon Gen 10. Now, this just arrived from Lenovo for review purposes. It starts at roughly 1,400 US dollars and change. I'll include a link in the description, and believe it or not, some units are already shipping out. So let's get this out of the box. I'll talk about what's new for 2022 with the Gen 10 version. Most importantly, we now have brand new, of course, Intel 12th Gen processors. In this build, we've got the 1260p, that is a Core i7, which should give, I would say, really improved overall processor performance from the previous generation. That's one of the big differences this year. And then in addition to that, we've also got LPDDR5 RAM, which is soldered to the board, so keep that in mind when you're looking at different pre-configurations of this machine. Make sure that you get the RAM amount that you actually need. And beyond that, it looks like we've got a little bit of paperwork in here that I'm grabbing. Everything seems to be recycled packaging, which nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. And yeah, all your paperwork. Now, we do have, of course, facial recognition for those of you that are wondering for Windows Hello security purposes. But let's get to the laptop itself. 2.5 pounds, and that's part of the beauty of what really is promised to be an incredibly lightweight, durable ultrabook that has basically a little bit of everything, including touchscreen. Now, new for 2022, besides that brand new processor, and of course the DDR5 RAM, remember, soldered to the board. We also have a full HD webcam, so that's an upgrade. A little bit, it seems, of design changes, nothing too crazy. We have also, in addition to that, a Gen 4 NVMe SSD drive. For those of you that are wondering, that is yet another nice addition. They've also reconfigured cooling. This is a 65-watt charger, no surprise there. So I think this is going to be a popular machine. Granted, I haven't even powered it on. I mean, from an aesthetic standpoint, it's really nice. Matte display, again, 14 inches. We do have a privacy switch on that full HD webcam. Fingerprint scanner right here. I like that the display is matte. I'm powering this up. But as it does boot, HDMI 2.0, I think it's a B. Of course, USB Type A, I think this is a 3.2 Gen 1. And then we have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, which is great. Of course, that's how you're going to also charge the machine. You can see it's booting up right now. On the other side, headphone combo jack, and then, of course, that yet another, still important, USB Type A port and a Kensington lock. Build quality on this is excellent, just as it was with the previous generation. It's going to be really difficult to, I think, beat the overall aesthetic, the whole package, the CPU, and again, overall performance that will likely not yield amazing battery life. But let's see, if this gets between 8 and 10 hours, I don't think that that's bad. The OLED display option, besides the CPU itself, I think is one of the most important new elements to this machine. Now, this is a 16:10 aspect ratio IPS panel, but, and again, full HD plus, that means 1920 by 1200 res, but you can spec this out with a 2.2K OLED option. This does promise very good color fidelity, and from what I can see right now, it looks really good. But the question will be, how does that OLED perform? In all likelihood, it's going to be excellent. So that's something to be aware of. And of course, this does carry Intel Evo certification. The processor is, I believe that it's vPro certified. So just, a lot of nice things going on here. Your classic ThinkPad keyboard. You've got the nub in the event you need it. You've got, of course, a standard, I would say, pretty much standard ThinkPad trackpad. And then you still have, of course, the good old left and right click for when you're using the nub, or even for those of you who just don't want to use the trackpad to actually make selections. you've got flexibility. Now, you can also get 5G or 4G radios on this, so that's another thing when customization comes down to it. But just remember, you're going to want to flex this thing on RAM because of it being soldered. The NVMe drive you can upgrade yourself. For those of you that are wondering, I believe this came with a 1 terabyte, again, Gen 4 drive, but I'll be testing it out, putting it through the paces. Let's just go ahead and jump on the internet for a second and just see what that's like. And, you know, having touchscreen on something this size and the fact that it does go 180 degrees, this is going to be a popular machine just like the previous generation, especially now with that more powerful processor. Can they ever get it to be more efficient? I don't know, but it's definitely more powerful. Anyone who tells you otherwise, well, they haven't played with the 1260p. So getting on to Wi-Fi here, as I said, let's do that. Jumping on right now. I also like all of the keys that we have. The dedicated keys at the top, always a nice touch. Not everybody loves it, but I am a fan. And I think it's the whole balance of all of the parts here that makes this such an attractive machine, because it has a great keyboard, it has a good trackpad, has a really nice display, especially now with that OLED option. You've got the upgraded webcam, faster, now LPDDR5 RAM, faster NVMe Gen 4 drive. So it pretty much, I think, checks all the boxes for what you would want out of an ultrabook, especially if, like me, you really have been waiting for that OLED option. So we're just going to open it up here, and let's just see. We're going to start without data. So let's go ahead and move forward. And, you know, they just took over the world. But just to jump to a site quickly, I will take you over to YouTube, and let's just take a look at a little bit of what the video performance is like on this display, which I believe tops out at roughly 400 nits of brightness. We'll go ahead and take a little 4K HDR sample clip. And let's just, this is always a good benchmark, especially since it's designed for OLED. And you're hearing the speakers too. Win-win. Brightness. Let's talk about that. We're at full brightness right now. Speakers are right here, if that wasn't already obvious, on the side of the deck. And my mistake there. Let's get audio all the way up. So I think it looks really good, it sounds good, and then this thing weighs 2.5 pounds, has a solid processor. Again, it pretty much checks every box, especially if you're like me and you still want to have touchscreen, and then the fact that it's matte, not high reflective, is a godsend. Now, in terms of other things, Wi-Fi 6E, that's another upgrade over the previous generation I didn't mention before, that is soldered to the board. But no worries, I don't think anyone was really expecting it not to be soldered to the board in a machine like this. Again, under 2.5 pounds. I think it's technically 2.48. Forgive me, Lenovo. But yeah, just a really nice machine. This is going to be probably very easy to recommend to anyone looking for a lightweight ultrabook with pretty much everything under the sun. Battery life may be the only drawback, but let's test it out and see. I mean, right now from Lenovo, it's got a full charge. So as soon as this video ends, I'm going to start to get an idea of what battery life is really like. And just so you know, I'll take brightness all the way down right now. Pretty interesting. Now, it is going to be all about, you know, the display, in my opinion, because if you went ahead and got the OLED version of this, clearly you're going to be working with something that's more power hungry. With this display being that HD plus, you can't even see it, which shows the brightness level on here is good enough, but now you can. 1920 by 1200 is more than enough for the majority of users, and it's going to be the most budget-friendly, and again, battery life should be the best with this model. So in all likelihood, this will end up being the most popular model, but again, that OLED display, I think, sets this lightweight ultrabook apart from much of the competition, and it's been tested to military spec. So durable carbon fiber body, you know, no card reader, but I don't I don't fault them for that. This is just a really well put together machine. Should be easy to disassemble also. So not that there's a lot to do in there other than replace that NVMe drive if you so desire. So again, noting carbon fiber and magnesium build here. It's just a really slick ultrabook, and again, probably one of the easier ones to recommend. You got your little Lenovo ThinkPad blinking dot over the eye while hibernating. Any questions or comments about this brand new lightweight marvel, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.